Mussels grow all over the world. Atlantic, Pacific, warm water, cold water. Everywhere there's water, there are mussels, even fresh water, although we don't eat those. Mussels, whether they're New Zealand green lips, or a little more suitable for braising or stuffing, or small, delicate little Pen Cove or Prince Edward Island mussels, all can be treated by steaming them as well. It's a wonderful technique. In fact, what I have here are some beautiful Mediterranean mussels from the Pacific Northwest. Mediterranean just in that they have a blue or black shell to them. Now, when you get mussels at the store, some of them are going to have these little beards. All you want to do is yank those out within about an hour before serving. If you do it too far in advance of cooking them, what's going to happen is they're going to die. But with that little beard, they're still going to be alive. Now, that mussel is nice and heavy. It's got a tightly closed shell. That's very important for freshness. If you're going through mussels and you find some that are cracked like this in your bag, simply discard them. Don't be afraid of mussels that are slightly agape. If you give them a little press, they're just going to close right up. And if they don't close right up, just give them a little smell. As long as they're not ammoniated, they're going to be okay to eat. Now, the last thing you have to remember about mussels is that they filter water to survive, and they get nutrients out of the water. So mussels are susceptible to red tide and toxins in waters, so be sure of your source whenever you're buying mussels. Now in Italy, they steam mussels in tomato and olive oil, and they call it marinara, from the sea. In France, they call it mariniere, and they steam them in white wine and garlic and butter, also from the sea. It's just the preferred way in each country for steaming shellfish. Today I'm going to show you the French technique, but if you'd like to make it with tomato and olive oil, just substitute that for the butter and the white wine. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to heat up our pan, get it nice and hot. I'm going to throw in some butter, and that's going to start melting right away, and as it foams, I'm adding my shallots, my garlic, my parsley, and some black peppercorns. And we just gently cook that. Now the key here is to wait until the shallots and the garlic have given off their sulfur. So once they turn glassy and start to give off their sugars into the butter, that's where we're going to add our mussels and our white wine. Now, this pile of mussels I cleaned about 15 minutes ago. Look how beautiful they are. I picked through them to make sure they all have a nice heft to them and that they're all closed. If you're going to do this ahead of time, take a nice kitchen towel, run it under cold water, and stick it on top. If you're storing mussels at home, even if you buy them the day before you're going to cook them, you want to put them in a bowl in the refrigerator, surrounded by damp, cold cloths. Beautiful. That's ready to go. In go my mussels. A little bit of white wine. And now that it's boiling, we clamp a lid on that. We're going to cook them until they open. The one key about mussels is that you want to make sure that the ones on the bottom that are sitting in liquid get as much heat as the ones on the top that are sort of suspended out of it. And because they cook for such a short amount of time, we want to make sure to toss the pot, which is something that you read a lot about when it comes to cooking seafood. Whether it's steamer clams, manila clams, mussels, scallops in the shell, even shrimp sautés, if you've got a lid on it, you occasionally want to just toss the pot to make sure that the cooked ones on the bottom rotate to the top and the raw ones from the top go down to the bottom to the liquid. The reason you don't want to reach in there and stir it again, you lose your heat. It's nice and noisy and fun. That's real big boy cooking, I call it, tossing pots around. I can smell those start to open. If you'll notice, we had very little liquid go into that pan, maybe a half cup of white wine for the 2 portions that are in there, which is roughly about 1.5 pounds of mussels. But I think what you'll notice is how much liquid is there when we lift the lid off. That's because mussels are mostly water and give off a lot of liquid during cooking. Oh, look at that. Is that beautiful? They're all opened. I'm just going to give those one more toss. Get some black pepper in my hand. Just a little bit of salt, not a lot because mussels have a lot of natural seawater in them. Lift the lid, Sprinkle that around, and the last thing I want to do as I kill the heat is season with some fresh lemon juice. And I'm going to portion these into my bowl. Stick any loose mussels back in there. Isn't that beautiful? And then the best part is that liquid that can be eaten like a soup. I always serve this with a nice dry white wine, like a Sancerre, and serve it with a couple of these beautiful little toast points for people to dunk into their mussel liquid. Bon appetit!